City prepare for an exodus. It's the same old story for PSG. Lazio streak continues, a transfer roundup and Emoji Mondays all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich here with the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First up, and I'm sure you heard all the news from the weekend, Manchester City have been banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons, and on top of that a £30 million fine. That at the moment is the least of their worries. This relates to the breaking of the financial fair play rules from Manchester City and finally sees UEFA cracking the whip against them. It could also mean that further points are deducted from them by the Premier League. There have also been rumours that these point deduction will not only mean this season, but also over the last decade when they've actually been doing most of their good work. This could also mean, very, very unlikely, however it may seem, that the 2014 title victory could be taken away from them and thus given to Liverpool. But anyway, besides that, City now face an exodus. Apparently on Saturday, players were called into a team meeting to be assured over their future and the future of the club. But I don't really think that's going to keep them from leaving. For the Pep Guardiola scenario, well, he said at the moment he will be staying, but much like the players, I can see why he'd want to leave. Don't get me wrong, the players and the coach have had a brilliant time at City. They've been the beneficiaries, technically, of all this cheating, because all that money and all the other players that have been brought in have allowed them to achieve so much success and pick up so many trophies and medals along the way. On the other side, they don't want to look like a for leaving the club when everything goes tits up, but they do want to be playing and coaching at the top level of European football. Take Sergio Aguero, for example. By the time the 22-23 season comes around, he will be 34 years old. If he's still at Manchester City, I'm pretty sure they'll have a new striker by then. And if he's not, which club is going to want a 34-year-old? Certainly not one in the Champions League, and even that, maybe not someone who is a Champions League contender. Thus, really ending Sergio Aguero's hopes of picking up a Champions League medal. I'm only using him because he's the first example that came to my head. Basically, you could have this for pretty much anyone else in the Manchester City squad. None of them are going to want to stay if a top Champions League winning club is going to come in for them, and the same goes for Pep Guardiola. In fact, those are the players who did want to leave now pretty much have the perfect excuse. They don't have to make something up halfway through about them going to pursue other opportunities or joining a different project. But talking of players who may not win the Champions League, we come onto the whole PSG squad. This is because yet again, without Neymar, things aren't going so well for them. Over the weekend, there was an unbelievable game which saw Amiens draw 4-4 with PSG, and to be honest, it's a bit embarrassing on their part because they were 3-0 up as well. This though, without Mbappe and without Neymar, and Thomas Tuchel, the PSG manager, said after the game, they still don't know if Neymar will be fit. Of course, the Champions League rolls around and Neymar's not fit. At this point, it's becoming less of a coincidence and more just utterly ridiculous. Why is their best player not around for the most important game of the season every single year? It's going to be playing on the minds of all the players, and to be honest, I can't see them going through without Neymar. With him though, of course, and with Mbappe, it makes the world of difference. And even though Dortmund have shown they are in fantastic form at the moment, especially with that 4-0 victory over Frankfurt and with Erling Haaland firing on all cylinders, I still think in defence they may not be able to cope with PSG superstars. That is, of course, if they're on the damn field. But moving on from PSG and to Serie A, where we mention it all the time, but Lazio really are making a run for the Serie A title. They beat Inter Milan, Antonio Conte's second defeat of the season, 2-1 at the weekend, which means they now sit 1 point behind Juventus. Juve had a pretty 2-0 routine win over Brescia, but for Ciro Immobile and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, well, they were the match winners for Lazio. Immobile's been in fine form this season, but it is worth noting that was his 10th penalty that he scored yesterday, and we're only in match day 24. As to whether or not Lazio can continue this fine run of form, well, they've got Serie A to focus on. Of course, Inter and Juve both have Champions League matches coming up, and this may derail their efforts ever so slightly. They are, of course, both in the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia as well, and both of them have work to do in the second leg if they're to get through to the final. So next up, we come to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's daily news. First off, an Almeria manager Guti, the same Guti as the Real Madrid legend, has denied that he was involved clubbing with his players at the weekend and said that he will resign should any images be released. Apparently he's saying that they definitely won't find any. Erling Haaland's fine form has seen him named Bundesliga Player of the Month for January. Chelsea are set to make Matthias Vecino their first summer signing, with £23 million the amount being paid to Inter Milan. And lastly but not least, over the weekend we had the youngest goal scorer ever in the Australian League history. Adelaide United's Mohamed Toure scored at the age of 15 years old. So next up, we come to a quick roundup of your Friday feels. This is why you guys left your footballing predictions in the comment section on Friday's Daily News. And a quick disclaimer, If I don't call yours out, it doesn't mean it was any less correct. I just can't really call all of them out because we'll be here for quite a long time. So if you did get yours correct, congratulations to you. First off though, and Edmund Okafor guessed that Lazio would beat Inter Milan. Mike Cage said that Haaland would score at the weekend. And Zahir Patel guessed that Juventus would see off pressure 2-0. So welcome to Emoji Mondays. This is where we at Onefootball throw a couple of emojis down on some of the weekend's action. First off, for the best player from this weekend, I'm giving it to Nicolas Pepe. An unbelievable performance from the Arsenal forward in their 4-0 victory over Newcastle, which saw him get on the score sheet and provide 2 assists. The crazy moment of the weekend belongs to Grosseto head coach Lamberto Magrini in Serie D in Italy, who slapped his own player once he'd been substitute. It was actually the son of former Italian great Fabrizio Ravanelli, and then got sent off. And lastly but not least, the best victory of the weekend comes from the Portuguese division, where Braga managed a 1-0 victory away at Benfica. It now means that the champions-elect have suffered 2 defeats in a row, and Porto are gaining on them fast. So there you have it. Let me know your Emoji Mondays in the comments down below and your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Once you're there, of course, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out loads of other stuff we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.